Let's move on to Manchester United, because they beat Crystal Palace, mainly through sheer force of will on Sunday afternoon, Perry. Win this week and watch the other rivals drop points in the Champions League, then this is the sort of almost certain that they'll get into the top 5 this year and get that Champions League place that they crave. But trips to Newcastle are never easy, even if Newcastle have lost their last 3 in the Premier League at home. So what happens here?
I'd fancy Man United. I know Crookie, obviously, he's got Man United in his veins, and as a neutral, you look at it a lot more sort of objectively. I actually think with Manchester United, that was Michael Carrick's biggest test on Sunday, because they're 1-0 down at half time. They showed a little clip of him, didn't he, running up the touchline, didn't they? Think, right, I've got to get in the dressing room early because I know how I'm going to go about this, what I'm going to say. And I think when he said that he didn't make any changes, he just thought that there was no tempo in their play, that they weren't moving the ball quick enough, they weren't closing down, a little bit too passive. He said a little couple of tactical tweaks, and then the players are invested in him anyway. As soon as that happens at half time, and he gets his message across, and they think actually he knows exactly what he's saying here, and he's seeing something that we haven't seen, and then they go out, and then obviously again you want big players to stand up. And I've been critical of Bruno Fernandes in the big games. I think sometimes he goes missing and he can be a bit petulant, but he was absolutely outstanding in that second half. Whereas the captain goes, I'm going to affect this. The ball that he put through for Cunha when Lacroix got sent off was out of this world, because no one else sees that on the pitch when the ball's rolled to him and he puts it through sort of first time. So from Man United's point of view, I think you'd fancy them strong, because you can play teams at the right time. And Newcastle look like they're struggling with a bit of energy. Eddie Howe's making strange decisions and where he's playing players. We said about what Mardy playing, sort of in the 10. He's playing Joe Linton on the forward side, on the left-hand side, to the midfield. So I think it's a good time to play him. But Michael Carrick, I think he's got 23 points, hasn't he, out of his first games in charge.
Not doing too badly, is he?
Yeah, Man United. I didn't realise my old manager, Mike Walker, goalkeeper Mike Walker, was on that. Everton fans were like, really? We didn't think he got 23 points, let alone in his first like 9-10 games.
He had a good start. It went downhill pretty much after that, though. So someone who didn't have a great start but is having a very good sort of run at the moment is Benjamin Seshko. 4 goals in 4 games, 6 in 7. Look, Bruno did change the game. That pass, the delivery for the Seshko goal, absolutely superb. But it was a brilliant header as well by Benjamin Seshko. And I keep telling Crook this, from what I've heard at the training ground, Michael Carrick is a massive fan of Benjamin Seshko. He thinks he's got something special with this kid. He's only 22 years of age. He thinks that he'll develop into a very good player, and it looks like a very good purchase from Manchester United. Let's see, though, how he works the formation, the team selection against Newcastle, because at the moment he's almost got too many good players in one area of the field, Crook.
Yeah, and the beauty of it has been really, apart from West Ham, we've not had any midweek football to worry about. Listen, I'd love to be playing in the Champions League, but as a United fan, it's quite nice that you can win on a Sunday and then not have to worry about it for another week by and large. But obviously we got this midweek game. He is pretty much reliant on a core of 12 or 13 players in terms of quality, because otherwise you're making changes that weaken the team. So it is a challenge, and it was a challenge they didn't really pass last time out with that West Ham game. They looked a bit jaded. They were lucky to get a point for another Seshko goal at the end. So that's why I actually think a draw away from home at Newcastle, where United haven't travelled well of late, and there's always that rivalry between the two going back to the Kevin Keegan era, wouldn't be a terrible result. I'd love Perry to be right and take all 3. But just to reiterate what's been said on Bruno Fernandes, there's a lot of nonsense that follows Bruno Fernandes around, because he's a bit theatrical, because maybe he's not a sort of old school captain. He's far and away Manchester United's best player since Sir Alex Ferguson retired. And now that he's got quality players around him, you're starting to see that week in, week out in terms of the numbers he's putting on the board. There's still a debate, I think, at board level about whether they cash in this summer. Please don't do that. Give him the opportunity. Sign another couple of midfielders to bolster that area of the pitch, maybe a defender. And you know what? If they keep Bruno Fernandes and they add to the squad, maybe a title tilt next season is not.
All right, Crookie, calm down. Was you out?
No, I'm not going to calm down. Look at the form. If we had a proper manager for the first half of the season instead of the Portuguese fella,
But
You'd be talking about United as potential title contenders.
Crook's not factoring in the fact that actually next season they'll be playing Champions League football as well, and they'll actually stay in the cup for a little bit longer than a trip to Grimsby away. So there'll
But
be
they can't
more.
sell Bruno, is my point. You must agree
No,
with that.
you're absolutely right. They should never, ever even consider selling Bruno. Keep Bruno until the end of his career. He should be part of that Manchester United renaissance, and he should be a central core of it for the next couple of years. Why? How much do you think it would cost you to replace a player of the quality of Bruno Fernandes?
100
You
mil.
haven't got the money to be able to do that, right? So forget that. Keep hold of him and invest in the areas where you can add quality around him. You need numbers for a start. That's
Yeah.
the first thing you need. Along with some tactical improvements, I think an ability to alter matches has been really key for Michael Carrick. He's also instilled this thing that is really important: fight. And they are coming good in second halves. And I did send Crook a text on Monday in our group saying, when they were all worrying about the fact that it was 0-0 at halftime or whatever, I said, they score goals in the second half. All of their goals they score are in the second half. Don't panic. And actually, it's happened again this weekend as well. They are very, very Manchester United, this team.